Welcome back to Tequila Tales. I'm Tequila Tim. Today, a very special episode for you, especially you George Strait fans. The king of country music, George Strait's Tequila, right here. Codigo 1530. I'm going to tell you all about it. Very famous country musician, producer, George Strait. He's been retired from singing for about 10 years, but he's not retired. He's making tequila, you guys. He's an investor in Codigo 1530. Yes, the Texas-born country music star is involved in this. I'm going to tell you all about it. He's actually a cousin of Jeff Bezos, Amazon founder. Small world, right? Stick with me after this break. We're going to go right into the Tequila Tiki right here behind me and sample this. I'll tell you all about it next. Okay, so before we start today's episode, let's talk about what we will be sipping today. We've got 3 tequilas resting right here. We have first on the far left, the Codigo Mezcal 1530. Really excited for that one. I've become a big fan of Mezcals in the last couple of years, and I'm really excited for this one. Just a really cool bottle. I'll get more into it when I taste it. That's resting right there. In the middle, we have the Codigo Rosa 1530, which is their take, kind of like the Calirosa Blanco that I did previously. I'll link you to that video below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. That's a great one, made by Adam Levine's company. Really, really good tequila, highly recommend it. That's gonna be a similar tasting profile, so I'm excited to get into that one. And lastly, on the very end, as you can see, I've had most of it over the last couple months. Codigo 1530 or in Extra Anejo. I got a little bottle right there. It's an expensive one. This was a gift. Very happy to receive this gift. You can see a lot of detail on that one. So we'll talk about each one of these individually. And then on the far left, what you're seeing right there is a collaboration. Codigo Raider Hair, Anejo Conejo Tequila. 1530 again, hecho in Amitatan, Jalisco, Mexico. That's the lowlands. And this is a collab again with Playboy. I did a full video review on that, so I won't be tasting that live on camera today, but I did in the past, so that's gonna be below. Make sure you check that one out. It's a great video with a little walk down the past of Playboy and their top 5 supermodels and what have you. So check that one out. Okay, so let's get into what you can expect today in the George Strait Tequila review. So what I always do in these tequila reviews is I sample the tequila, but more importantly, I like to dive into the story behind the tequila. Everyone else out there can go ahead and taste the tequila, tell you what they like about it, but I like to give the tale behind the tequila. That's why we're called Tequila Tales. So hopefully you can learn something, and then you can use this information like I would be and be the total jackass that can go to the bar and impress everybody with their amazing wisdom of tequila. You can say you got it at Tequila Tales, or you can keep it a secret for yourself. Obviously, I like if you share it, but again, I want you to go into the bar and be the most smartest man or woman in there and be able to talk about this stuff. There's so many people out there that run their mouth about things they don't know about. I like to educate people, give you some weapons you can put in your pocket and take with you. So that's why I like to do this. Now, another thing you'll find out with me is I like to just get right into it. So I always say there's an order. I'm going to go in a row and do that kind of thing, this, that, but you can't just sit here and have a good mezcal I've never had before me and not expect me to sip it while I'm telling you a story. So, wow, loving this already. Here's a good look at the bottle if you haven't seen this. Really cool bottle. Oh, wow. Floral, a little vanilla, some citrus. A lot of that smokiness you get from mezcal. This is amazing. I really like this. And this isn't even my review. I'm just sipping it as I talk to you guys right now. So let's get into this whole thing. So how this all started, this Codigo brand that George Strait invested in, and I believe it started back in 2016, if not a little bit earlier. It's become more popular over the years. I'm not a George Strait fan. I'm not really a country music fan. I mean, I'm wearing a Tupac Bear shirt. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm more of a hip hop guy, 90s Minneapolis kid, Prince, stuff like that. This is basically something that if you ask yourself, what type of tequila do the actual Mexicans drink? Well, this is basically it right here. The story behind this is that the people that know tequila created this tequila. There's something that the Mexicans drink in the area called El Tequila Privado. Now this comes from a private recipe that's made in a small distillery in a place called Amitatan, right? So that's where this comes from right here. Now, generationally, this recipe was made by a local artisan and the distillery, and they had no desire to ever take it to market. But after time, they kept producing it, and they follow the age-old customs and codes called the Codigos of old school tequila making. And that's why it's called Codigo, right? Codigo, however you want to pronounce it. Codigo is what they'd say in Spanish for code, right? But that is a code of just the whole process of making their tequila for ages and ages and generations. In English, again, it means codes. So essentially what they had was a nameless tequila that people drank, and they brought it to market, and they called it Codigo 1530. A lot of people just know this as George Strait Tequila because he's an investor, he's the face of the brand, and whenever you look for it online, you're gonna run into George Strait promoting it, drinking it, what have you, all that kind of stuff. So basically, in an interview that I read about this tequila, George Strait described himself as a whiskey guy until he found this stuff. So pretty exciting stuff. Now every family has their own way of making tequila, and this one is distilled twice in handmade distills by the distilling family themselves. They made these things. They got their own little process. They aged the Blanco for 15 days. The rest of tequilas are aged in French wine barrels from Napa Valley. So really expecting to get that barrel flavor right there. A lot of barrel flavor from the reds, whatever else they were using over there. This is usually different than other tequilas that use American white oak barrels, okay? So each small batch, they use 3 times the average amount of agave for a better tasting, more smooth tequila. That's what they say, at least. We'll find out. Most importantly though, which is very key and what I look for, again, I said at the beginning of the video, there's no added colors or sweeteners. Now lastly, you're gonna get a lot of the flavor with just basically how the water is used. And we've seen a lot of different tequilas using rainwater and freshwater pools. They use both here in this tequila. And other tequilas I've reviewed on Tequila Tales have similar strategies with the rainwater. This is filtered through the volcanic soil of Los Bajos. You've probably heard of that before in other reviews. They have a proprietary chopper that takes the best juice from the pulp of the first press of the agave. So they get a little bit more flavor with that is what they're claiming in all the material I've read. So we'll see if that comes out in the review. And from there, they use an organic yeast that I told you about before from a small family bakery in the area, rather than the aggressive commercial yeast that people import and use to facilitate a more gentle and gradual fermentation process. As I stated before, they use Napa Valley French Cabernet barrels versus the American white oak ones that you usually see in a lot of other tequilas. So a little bit of differentiation there. So I'm excited to get into it. And speaking of getting into it, let's just do it. Let's get the tasting underway. So first I'm gonna dive into the Mezcal, and I had to stand up. It is sweating bullets here. We're in South Florida. It's pushing humidity levels that I can't even fathom right now. So again, here's your Mezcal, George Strait Mezcal, Codigo 1530. It's been resting for a minute, and I've been sipping on it. I just couldn't wait, you guys, but here we go. Real floral, vanilla, woodiness. It's got the smoke, but not as much as most of these mezcals out there have. I do like it. This would be amazing in cocktails. Daily sipper too. It doesn't have, a lot of people don't like mezcal because of that almost band-aidish, Scotchish, if that's a word, aftertaste. That's what drove me away from mezcal at first. This doesn't have that. It's really smooth. You get the smoke, but a lot more citrus than anything. Almost like if you have a flavored vodka, how the aftertaste is way different versus when you have a regular vodka. And again, I'm in no way, shape, or form comparing tequila to vodka. That would not be fair. But that's almost what I get here. Love it. I love it. This is a great mezcal. And prices of mezcal have been sky high, you guys. I don't know if you've seen that, but they're real high. But to save money against mezcal, get into tequila, they're both really high right now. I mean, we went on huge trends during the pandemic thanks to a lot of marketing information out there. A lot of people covered the industry very exclusively during the pandemic, so that's what really got my interest going again. As you might have heard, smash that subscribe button. You'll hear all my stories when I go. I recently sold my e-commerce business and want to focus on this a lot more, so expect a lot more reviews, a lot of cool stuff. I'm always getting to the rare stuff because not a lot of other people do, so you might not see me review the Rocks Tequila or something like that, but the rare, good stuff that you're gonna find that you wanna know about, right? That's what Tequila Tim does for you, right? So we're in the Codigo 1530 Rosa, okay? The Rosa, these are aged in Cabernet bottles, okay? So we're supposed to get that tasting and that all the notes and the smells of what you would get from a Cabernet barrel. So we got that in Calirosa and their Blanco, so I'm excited to see how this one goes against it. I have had this years ago. My palate was a lot different, my knowledge was a lot different, but very alcohol-y nose, not something I love. Now, the weird thing about George Strait Tequila and Codigo 1530 is the brand name. They do these different releases and they always seem to be limited. I don't know if that's a marketing ploy or what, but if you've noticed it, comment below. They always seem to do limited things. So I remember when this came out, there was a big marketing blitz behind it, and then they went into the next thing and talked about how it was limited. So we'll have to look more into that, but this is widely available. You can get this one probably more than the other ones that I've reviewed here. In the tasting, I get the same thing. A lot of alcohol. It doesn't really, you get a little red wineness in there. Almost like a cherry or a sherry, but I don't love it. I'll be honest with you. The Calirosa Blanco is better, and this is a Rosa Blanco, they call it as well. I'm just, if I had to pit the two against each other, and maybe I should do a blind tasting. This has too much of an alcohol thing in there, and I'm trying to even find out what else I get. Cooked agave, vanilla. That's what I'm getting. I don't love this one. I probably wouldn't buy this one again, and that's no offense to George Strait. He's got an amazing brand. I like a lot of his other stuff, but this one's a pass for me. So we've had the Mezcal. Shared you my thoughts on the George Strait Mezcal. It's amazing. I like it. I like it a lot. I had the Rosa. Not a huge fan. I probably wouldn't buy it again. I shared you my review of the Rare Hair Anejo. Very rare tequila. That's below. That's a different video. I dedicated a whole video to it, and you'll see why when you click on it. So please do. Lastly, we have the one that's getting their best billing online. If you read about it, you're going to hear amazing things. This is the Codigo 1530 Origen Extra Anejo. This is aged 6 years in French white oak barrels. Okay. Very excited to try this one. As you can tell, it's been opened in the past, but it has been a while. This one, just so you know, if you watch my below, I'll link it. Best Extra Anejo Tequila video. This one got honorable mention. It's a fantastic tequila. Here we go. George Strait Anejo, Extra Anejo, sorry, tequila review. Oh, right off the nose, you know it's an Extra Anejo. You just get hit with that agave, that vanilla, that caramel. So good. Coats the mouth, not a ton of burn at the end. Tremendous finish, just opens up as you drink it. Very similar to like a Tapatio Excelencia, if you've had that one. A lot of caramel, very nutty, oaky, a lot of oak. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this one. George Strait Tequila, Extra Anejo is my favorite of the bunch. Even better than the Rare Hair, but I do urge you to check out that video review because it's a little bit different from the rest. Obviously, you'll hear all about the packaging and everything that goes into this just beautiful bottle. George Strait Tequila, Codigo 1530. That's my brand summary. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.